the security man's boot struck the wooden table and 11 watermelons rolled into the gutter. 3 burst beneath a cobalt blue SUV, splashing red pulp across Sade Balogun's faded orange wrapper. "Carry your poverty away," Ronki shouted before the crowd. "This road is for people building businesses, not women counting cracked melons." Then the SUV door opened. Tayo Coker stepped out and froze. 9 years earlier, the woman kneeling in the mud had been his wife, his business partner, and the woman he branded a thief before sending her away with nothing. But Sade did not beg. She stood, pulled a rain-stained invoice from her bag, and pressed it against his chest. "Your company owes these farmers 18,740,600 naira," she said. "For you pay the people whose sweat built your launch stage." The roadsides went silent. Even the traffic seemed to hold its breath. Do not leave this story halfway, because the truth behind Sade's downfall will expose more than a broken marriage. Comment your city, your country, and your local time below. Subscribe and stay with us, because the man Tayo trusted most was already preparing to destroy her again. Tayo looked at the paper in his hand. Rain had touched the edges. Red watermelon juice had stained one corner. Across the top in faded black ink were the words Coker Fresh Link Limited. Below that was a list. 37 farmer names, 37 delivery references, 37 unpaid balances. Tayo lifted his eyes slowly. "Sade?" She bent and picked up another broken melon. The fruit had split open like a wound. Its red flesh was mixed with brown rainwater and bits of gravel. "Do not call my name like you found a ghost," she said. "I have been alive." The words landed harder than the boot that had scattered her table. Ronke Adebayo stepped forward at once. She wore a bright purple dress and a lime green head tie that rose above the crowd like a flag. 5 minutes earlier, her voice had been sharp enough to cut iron. Now it softened. "Ogatayo, sir. Hope no problem. This woman has been disturbing the market since morning. We warned all these roadside people that your convoy was coming." Sade turned. "You warned us at 4:14. Our permits allow us to trade until 6. Ronki squeezed her face. "Permit? Which permit? Ordinary paper you printed somewhere?" Sade reached into her canvas bag and brought out a folded receipt. "Your signature is here," a few traders murmured. Ronki's lips tightened. Tayo looked past them. Behind Sade stood a billboard nearly 3 meters high. His own face smiled from it, clean and confident. Beside him, a farmer held a basket of peppers. "Dignity for every farmer," the billboard said. At its base, 3 elderly men were collecting cracked melons from dirty water. Tayo's throat moved. "Who ordered this clearing?" he asked. Ronke answered too quickly. "It was necessary, sir. We cannot allow this kind of rough market to spoil the image of the new cold chain center. Investors are coming. Press people are coming. You know how these people behave." "These people?" Sade asked. Ronke ignored her. Tayo faced the security man who had kicked the table. "What is your name?" The man looked at Ronk. That small movement told Tayo enough. "Your name," Tayo repeated. "Danjuma, sir. Did she attack you?" "No, sir." "Did she block the road?" Danjuma swallowed. "No, sir. Madam Ronka said we should clear everywhere before the convoy arrived." Tayo's jaw hardened. Ronka raised both hands. "Oga, I was only protecting the company's image." Sade gave a dry laugh. "Your image has crushed 11 melons. 3 are under his tire. Perhaps the company can put that on the next billboard." Tayo glanced at the ruined fruit. "How much was everything?" Sade's face changed. Not softer, colder. "You still think this is about what is on the ground." He turned to his assistant. "Transfer 200,000 naira to her now. Add compensation for the other traders." "No." The answer came so fast that his assistant stopped with the phone already in hand. Tayo stared at Sade. She held out the unpaid invoice again. "I did not ask for your personal money. The goods were destroyed because of my event. Then let the company record the destruction. Let the company list every basket. Let the company issue a claim number. Let the company pay through the same system it uses when a rich supplier complains." Sade This road is not the place for. This road is exactly the place. Her voice rose. The farmers stopped moving. The traders leaned closer. You put your face on a board and promised dignity. Your people have owed these farmers for 114 days. Some borrowed money for seed. Some borrowed for transport. One man's daughter had surgery, and he sold his motorcycle because your office kept saying payment had been processed. A gray-haired stepped forward. His name was Mr. Musabello, 62 years old. His hands were rough and white at the knuckles from years of farm work. Oga, he said, we delivered. We have weighbridge slips. Your office said the money entered. Nothing entered. Another farmer raised her voice. My own is 618,000 naira. They said I supplied less than what was in my truck. Same with me and me. The voices began to overlap. Tayo lifted the invoice. Why was this not brought to me? Sade's eyes did not leave his face. It was, to my office, 7 letters, 4 emails, 2 courier envelopes, 1 petition through your supplier portal. Everyone received. Everyone closed. By who? Ask the people whose salaries are paid to stop you from hearing poor people. A black Land Cruiser pulled up behind the convoy. The rear door opened. Bode Coker came down in an emerald suit, his ruby red tie bright against his white shirt. He was older than Tayo by 3 years, broad in the shoulders, smooth in the face, and always composed. Until he saw Sade. For 1 second, only one, his right foot stopped in mid-step. Then he smiled. Sade Balogun, he said. So this is where you have been hiding. Sade's fingers tightened around the torn edge of her apron. I was not hiding. Bode came closer. You have chosen a dramatic day to appear. I have been writing to your office for 4 months. Have you? He took the invoice from Tayo and scanned it. Then he shook his head as if disappointed. My brother, be careful. These suppliers have been disputing quality deductions. Some of them want full payment for rejected produce. And Sade, he paused. The crowd waited. Sade understands how to manufacture a grievance. Teo's face became still. Sade looked at him. There it was, that old silence. The same silence from 9 years earlier. The silence that appeared whenever Bode spoke with confidence, and she spoke with pain. She knew it too well. Bode lowered his voice. This is a launch day. We have lenders, journalists, government officials. Do not allow a personal history to become a corporate spectacle. Sade laughed once. No joy in it. Personal history. Bode spread his hands. You were found responsible for financial misconduct. The marriage ended. You left. Now you return beside a company event with disputed invoices. What should any reasonable person think? Mr. Musa shifted angrily. This woman did not bring us here for drama. She has been buying our damaged stock with her own money. Bode did not even look at him. Papa, please, let the adults handle business. The old man's face fell. Sade stepped between them. Do not speak to him like that. Bode's smile thinned. You see, always ready to fight. Always carrying everybody's problem on your head. And you, she said, are always standing where money disappears. A murmur ran through the traders. Bode's eyes flashed. Tayo unfolded the invoice fully. His attention caught on a code in the bottom right corner, BF27. He looked again. The letters were small, almost hidden beneath a payment status stamp, BF27. His mind traveled back 9 years. A contractor, a disputed transfer, a compliance report, the code on the file that had destroyed his marriage. Tayo raised his head. Bode. Yes, this contractor code. Why is it here? Bode did not look at the page. Old system reference, nothing important. That company was dissolved. Then it may be a recycled code. Who authorized recycling it? Bode gave a short laugh. Tayo, not here. Sade watched both men. Then she said quietly, the numbers that destroyed my name 9 years ago have returned. This time, they are hiding inside your farmer's invoices. The air changed. Bode's jaw moved. Tayo looked at Sade's hands. They were stained with soil and watermelon juice. On her left thumb was a faint scar he remembered from the days when they loaded crates themselves. She had cut it on a broken pallet and refused to stop working. He had wrapped that thumb with the last clean handkerchief in his pocket. Back then, they had shared one bottle of water because they could not afford two. Now his convoy blocked the road while she stood beside a broken table. Sade, he said, softer, come to the center. We will review everything. No closed room. What? No private meeting where your people will say I misunderstood what I saw. No soft apology, no envelope. Write a complaint number now. Record the damaged goods. Give every farmer here a date. Bode stepped in. This is blackmail. Sade turned to him. Blackmail requires a secret. I am speaking in front of everybody. Tayo's assistant looked down to hide a reaction. Bode noticed. His face darkened. Tayo took out his phone. He called the finance director. This is Tayo. Freeze all disputed supplier deductions connected to BF27. No payment changes. No file deletions. I want a preservation notice sent to IT within 10 minutes. Bode's smile vanished. Tayo, you are overreacting. Am I? Yes, because she is standing here. Tayo looked at Sade. She did not look grateful. That disturbed him more than anger would have. He turned to Ronke. Every trader whose goods were damaged will be documented before anyone leaves. Their permits will be honored. No further clearing until 6. Ronke's mouth opened. Sir, the launch, postpone the press walkthrough. Bode took Tayo's arm. My brother. Tayo pulled free. Do not touch me. For the first time, the crowd saw fear move across Bode Coker's face. It did not stay long. But Sad saw it, and Bode saw that she saw it. Before she left, Tayo tried once more. Where can I reach you? Sad lifted her chin towards the narrow road behind the market. Same place your company sends rejection notices. Then she picked up her brown notebook, placed it inside her bag, and began helping the farmers gather what remained. Tayo stood beside his shining SUV. No one offered him an umbrella. That evening, long after the traders had gone, he sat alone in the new cold chain center. The building smelled of fresh paint, steel, and money. On the table before him lay the stained invoice. BF27. He searched the old compliance archive. Access denied. He tried again. A notification appeared. File moved by operations administrator. At that same moment, inside his office across the compound, Bode Coker was making a phone call. Ronk, he said. His voice was low. You should have cleared that woman before the convoy arrived. I tried, Oga. Trying is for people without consequences. Listen carefully. From tomorrow, Sade Balogun must not sell one melon on any road connected to this project. Ronke hesitated. And the farmers? Block their trucks. All of them? All 37. Bode stared through the glass wall at the dark road outside. Then he added, and find out where she keeps that brown notebook. 9 years earlier, Coker Freshlink had no glass offices. It had 3 rented trucks, 1 second-hand laptop, and a narrow room above a pharmacy in Surulere. The ceiling leaked. The generator coughed more than it worked. But Tayo and Sade believed in the company with the reckless faith of people who had nothing left to protect. Sade was the one who knew the farmers. She traveled to Isian, Epe, Abeokuta, and small communities that did not appear on any investor's map. She sat under zinc roofs. She drank warm malt when that was what her hosts could afford. She listened. Farmers told her the same story. Middlemen changed prices after harvest. Scales were adjusted. Payment could take months. Rejected produce spoiled before another buyer arrived. Sadie returned to Lagos with a brown notebook full of names, numbers, and promises. We will pay within 14 days, she told Tayo. He looked at their empty business account and laughed. With which money? With the money we collect from buyers. And if buyers delay? Then we delay ourselves, not the farmers. Tayo stopped laughing. That became their first rule. Farmers first. For 2 years, they lived close to failure. Some nights, Tayo slept inside a truck because there was no money for a hotel. Sad cooked rice in their small kitchen and packed it into plastic bowls for drivers. When one truck broke down near Sagamu, she sat beside the mechanic until 3 in the morning, reading invoices under the light of a phone. They fought. They made peace. They built. By 2015, Coker Freshlink had contracts with 2 hotel groups, a juice factory, and a supermarket chain. The company needed structure. Investors wanted audited systems. Banks wanted controls. That was when Tayo brought in Bode. Bode had worked in logistics and procurement for nearly 12 years. He wore good suits, used words like optimization and exposure, and could make a room of bankers relax. Sadie did not dislike him at first. She disliked the way he spoke about farmers. Your people are emotional, Bode told her during his second week. Business cannot bend because one farmer's wife is sick. They are not my people, Sade replied. They are our suppliers. Suppliers are replaceable. Then why do we put their faces in presentations? Bode smiled. Because investors like human stories. Sade looked at him for a long time. From that day, she began keeping copies of everything. The first strange figure appeared in February 2016. A truck from Isiyin was weighed at 7,842 kilograms. The payment file showed 7,116, a difference of 726 kilograms. Bode called it normal loss. Sade checked another truck, then another. The pattern repeated. The percentage was too neat, too consistent. Natural loss did not behave like a clerk following instructions. She took the files to Tayo. He was preparing for a meeting with a foreign investment fund. Can this wait until Friday? He asked. No, Sade. Please, we are 6 days from due diligence. That is why it cannot wait. She placed the documents in front of him. Tayo scanned the pages. Bode says the produce is weighed before sorting. Some loss is normal. This is not. Have you spoken to him? He says the farmers exaggerate. And what do you say? I say the numbers are being changed after the trucks leave. Tayo leaned back. The room was hot. The air conditioner had stopped again. His tie was loose, and he had not slept properly in 3 nights. Are you accusing him of theft? I am asking for an audit. That is not an answer. It is the responsible answer. Tayo rubbed his face. Let me finish the investor meeting. Then we will review. Sade gathered the papers slowly. 14 days, she said. What? That is how long we promised farmers they would wait. You are asking them to wait because rich men are coming to inspect us. That is unfair. No, it is accurate. She left. Bo was standing outside the door. He smiled as she passed. Within a week, the first accusation appeared. A payment of Manin 24,800,000 had been sent to a contractor called Balogun Field Services. The approval trail carried Sade's electronic signature. The contractor's registered representative was listed as S. Balogun. Then came another transfer. Then a forwarded email showing Sade discussing price information with a competitor. Then a document suggesting she had authorized inflated transport charges. Everything pointed in one direction. To her, Tayo called her into the office at 8:12 p.m. on March 17, 2016. Bode was present. So was the company lawyer. The files were arranged neatly on the conference table. Too neatly. Sade read the first page. Then the second. Her face did not change until she reached the signature. This is copied. The lawyer cleared his throat. Mrs. Coker, the system logs show your credentials, then check where the login came from. We have. No, you checked a summary. Show me the raw access record. Bode folded his arms. Always an explanation. Sade ignored him. She looked at Tayo. Open the KYC file for the receiving account, Bode answered. That information is restricted during an internal investigation. I am the person you are accusing, and that does not give you the right to interfere with evidence. Sade's eyes moved back to Tayo. Do you hear him? Tayo's face was pale. Did you approve these payments? No. Did you share your password? No. Did you contact Green Harvest Logistics? I asked them for a market quote 6 months ago. That is not leaking confidential information. The email says, the email is cut. Show the full thread. Bode tapped the table. The company has 12 days before signing the investment agreement. We cannot allow one person's misconduct to destroy 200 jobs. Sade stood. One person's misconduct? Sade, Tayo said. She faced him. Check the file creation time, check the device ID, check who owns Balogun Field Services, check the edit history on the weight records. We will investigate. With who? Him? Tayo looked away for 1 second. That was enough. Sade understood. The verdict had arrived before the investigation. She was suspended that night. Her access card was taken. Her company email was locked. Bode sent a message to key suppliers saying she had been removed due to serious compliance concerns. The investment deal continued. Tayo told himself he was protecting the company while the truth was being established. But truth was not being established. It was being buried. For 4 months, Sade fought. She borrowed money for a lawyer. She filed requests for documents. The company delayed. When documents came, pages were missing. When she asked for the raw server logs, she was told they had been archived. When she asked for the account holder's full identification, the bank required a court order. The legal bills rose. Her mother's health failed. The landlord threatened eviction. Tayo still came home for the first few weeks, but the house had become a place where two people sat beside each other and spoke through lawyers. One night, he found Sade packing her clothes. "You are leaving? I cannot sleep beside a man who is waiting for a report to tell him whether I have character." "That is not fair." She turned. "You like that sentence?" "Sade, there is evidence. There are papers. Papers are evidence. Only when you test them." He looked exhausted. "So what do you want me to do? Stop the company? Lose the investment? Send everyone home because my wife says the system is wrong?" She closed the suitcase. "I want you to ask, who benefits from rushing you?" Tayo said nothing. She lifted the suitcase. At the door, she looked back. "You did not have to believe me because I was your wife. You had to investigate because you were the man with power." The divorce took 7 months. The settlement was small because her founder shares had been frozen under the misconduct clause. She accepted less than her lawyer advised because she could no longer pay to continue. Bode called it closure. Tayo called it survival. Sade called it the day a lie became official. Now, 9 years later, she woke before dawn in a rented room near Ipe. There was no air conditioner, no polished floor, only a fan that turned slowly and clicked each time it completed a circle. On the wall hung a list of farmers and amounts owed. Mr. Musa Bello, 184,300. Mrs. Fatima Yusuf, 618,000. Yemi Farms Cooperative, plus 2,211,450. 37 names. Sade washed her face, tied a pale turquoise scarf over her hair, and opened the metal box beneath her bed. Inside were copies of letters, weighbridge slips, photographs of truck plates, and the brown notebook. She touched the notebook once. Then she locked the box. Outside, a horn sounded. Mr. Musa had come with his old pickup. "They have blocked the trucks," he said before she reached the gate. "Who?" "Freshlink Security. They said all suppliers connected to your complaint are under review." Sade stopped. "When?" "Since 5 this morning." Her phone rang. It was Fatima. Her voice shook. "Masada Ranka people came. They seized my baskets. They said we owe sanitation levy." "Did they give receipt?" "No." Another call entered. Then another. By 7:30, Sade understood the pattern. This was not an administrative response. It was punishment. She went directly to the market office. Ronk sat behind a desk, drinking tea from a white cup. Two security men stood near the door. "Sade," Ronka said, "you like trouble too much. You canceled 37 permits. Temporary compliance review. You seized paid goods, public sanitation. You blocked trucks from the center. That one is company matter." Sadie placed her phone on the desk and started recording. Ronka laughed. "You think small phone will frighten me?" "No. I think people behave better when their words can return." Ronki leaned forward. "Listen to me. Your former husband may have looked at you yesterday and remembered old bedroom stories. Do not think that makes you powerful." Sade's eyes hardened. "Say what you need to say without entering my marriage." "Which marriage?" "The one that threw you out." One security man looked away. Ronki smiled. "You used to wear silk. Now you smell of melon skin. Life has shown you your level. Accept it." Sade picked up her phone. "My level is not the issue. Your receipts are." She turned to leave. Ronka's voice followed her. "You will not sell one fruit in this market again." Sade stopped at the doorway. Then I will sell outside it. By noon, she had moved her table 200 meters down the road. By 1, local enforcement officers arrived. They loaded 63 baskets into a truck. Sade stood in front of the vehicle. Give me an inventory. One officer laughed. Madam, shift, write what you are taking. Do you want us to carry you too? Mr. Musa held her arm. Leave them, please. Sade watched the truck drive away. No receipt, no inventory, no legal notice. Just power moving on 4 tires. At Coker Freshlink headquarters, Tayo was reading the first preservation report from IT. 3 folders connected to BF27 had been moved after his instruction. One user account had attempted deletion. Operations Administrator. Bode's office. Tayo called him in. Bode entered without knocking. You are treating routine files like murder evidence, he said. Why were folders moved? Server reorganization. After I ordered preservation, I had not seen the notice. It was sent at 5:48. I was in transit. Your account accessed the server at 6:12. Bode sat down. My assistant may have logged in. Your assistant says she did not. Bode sighed. Tayo, what exactly is happening here? I hired an independent forensic auditor. Silence. Very brief, very deep. Then Bode smiled. Because of Sade. Because my supplier system says paid when farmers say unpaid. You know what she did. I know what a report said she did. And now? Now I want the raw records. Bode stood. This company survived because you learned not to carry emotion into business. Do not go backwards. Teo looked at him. Leave your access card. Bode's face changed. For what? Temporary preservation protocol. You are suspending me? I am restricting system access until the audit is complete. Bode slowly removed the card. He placed it on the desk. Then he leaned closer. You think she came back for justice? I did not say that. She came back because she has seen what you built without her. Tayo's eyes narrowed. What did I build without her? Bode straightened. A company worth billions. No, Tayo said quietly. I built that after she was removed. The company began with her. Bode's mouth tightened. He walked out. That evening at 11:36 p.m., the cold chain center lost power. The main generator failed to start. The backup ventilation shut down. Temperature alarms sounded across the facility. For 47 minutes, workers ran through dark corridors using phone lights. When power returned, the access system produced one name, Sade Balogun. At 12:18 a.m., Bode called Tayo. His voice was calm, too calm. We have caught her, he said. By sunrise, 2 police officers were standing beside Sade's roadside table. They did not shout. They did not need to. People moved away the moment they saw the uniforms. Ronki arrived 5 minutes later with her phone held upright. She positioned herself where the market sign and Saded's face could enter the same frame. Madam Sade Balogun. One officer said, You are invited for questioning concerning unlawful entry and damage to private property. Sade looked from him to Ronke. What time did this happen? Last night. I was here until 9. Mr. Musa took me home. Ronke clicked her tongue. A thief does not announce when she is going. Sade ignored her. What evidence? The officer showed her a printed access report. Her name was on it. Her old visitor pass number was beside the timestamp. 11:31 p.m. Sade read it twice. Then she gave the page back. That card was collected from me at the gate 2 days ago. We will discuss at the station. Ronk raised her voice for the traders to hear. A thief can change her clothes, but she cannot not change her hands. The market became still. Sade looked at Ronke. You should pray that your own hands are clean. One officer gestured towards the vehicle. Sade picked up her canvas bag. As they led her across the road, a fresh link distribution truck passed slowly. Its rear doors were sealed. A wet, sweet smell hung behind it. Sade stopped walking. Which truck is that? The officer frowned. Move, madam. She looked at the number plate, KJA 417YT, then at the small blue lot tag fixed near the rear hinge, M2606614. Her face changed. Stop that truck. Ronk laughed. See her. She is now traffic control. Sade stepped towards the road. The officer caught her arm. Madam. That load came from the failed cold room. How do you know? The smell. Everyone paused. The truck was already turning towards the expressway. Sade spoke quickly. Melons held above safe storage temperature in a closed room can ferment. If damaged fruit entered that batch, the load must be inspected before processing or sale. Call the center. The officer looked uncertain. Ronki waved her hand. She is trying to delay arrest. Sade faced him. Officer, you can take me. I am not running, but call them first. He did not. At the station, Sade sat on a wooden bench for 3 hours. She gave her statement. She provided Mr. Musa's number. She asked for the access log to be preserved. The officer in charge told her to be patient. Patience. Poor people were always told to be patient while evidence moved. At 10:24 a.m., a young lawyer sent by the farmers' cooperative arrived. Sade used his phone to call Halima Bello. They had never met. Halima answered on the fourth ring. Bello speaking. My name is Sade Balogun. You are auditing Coker Fresh Link. A pause. How did you get this number? The lawyer found it on your firm's website. 3 trucks left the cold chain center this morning. One is KJA 417YT, Lot M 260614. Stop it. Halima's tone sharpened. Why? The cold room failed for 47 minutes. I saw signs of fermentation when the truck passed. You were inside the facility? No. Then how do you know the affected lot? Because the lot code begins with the intake date. June 26. Warehouse 1 uses the final 2 digits for bay position. 14 is beside the old ventilation duct. Halima was silent. Sada continued, check the temperature excursion. Check whether the quality officers signed release after power returned. Do not accept a backdated form. Where are you now? At the police station. Your client says, I caused the outage. Another silence. Then Halima said, do not delete that call record. 42 minutes later, Halima entered the cold chain center with an independent food safety officer. The atmosphere inside was tense. Bode was already there, though his system access had been restricted. He claimed he had come to protect operations. Tayo stood near the control room. Why were trucks released before the clearance? Halima asked. The warehouse manager held up a form. Clearance is here. Halima took it. The document was signed at 6:10 a.m. The quality officer had clocked into the facility at 7:02. Halima looked at Bode, who approved this. Operational necessity, he said. The product was stable. According to which test? Our internal assessment. Where is it? Bode's eyes cooled. You were hired for financial review. I was hired to examine connected control failures. She turned to Tayo. Stop the trucks. Bode stepped forward. That will trigger penalties. Tayo did not look at him. Stop them. Calls went out. One truck was found 11 kilometers from a supermarket distribution gate. Another had reached a juice processor but had not unloaded. The third was still on the Lekki Eep Road. All 3 were recalled. Lab inspection found damaged melons fermenting beneath good stock. The batch had to be isolated and destroyed under supervision. Had it entered processing, the company would have faced a serious safety incident. Tayo stared through the inspection window at the rejected load. Who raised the warning? He asked. Halima removed her gloves. Sade. He closed his eyes. Bode gave a bitter laugh. Convenient. Halima turned on him. What is convenient? She causes a failure, then warns us about the result. It makes her look like a savior. The access record is not proof she entered. It carries her name. It carries a number associated with her. That is not the same thing. Bode's face tightened. Halima continued. The visitor card assigned to Sade was surrendered at 4:58 p.m. 2 days ago. Security logged it into the lockbox. Then she copied it. The system shows no physical card authentication. Tayo frowned. What does that mean? It means the entry was added manually. No one spoke. Halima lifted another page. The corridor camera lost 19 minutes of footage. The deletion used an administrator credential created by operations. Bode's voice dropped. Many people have access. Name them. He did not. Tayo looked at him. Name them, Bode. Bode adjusted his cuff. We can review the list later. Halima placed the pages on the table. I am reviewing it now. At 4:13 p.m., Sade was released pending further inquiry. Tayo waited outside the station. He had come without the convoy, only one car, no assistant. Sade saw him and stopped. For a moment, neither moved. He looked older than he had beside the roadside, not physically older, more exposed. Sad, he said. She walked past him. He followed. The trucks were stopped. Good. You saved people from getting sick. I reported a risk. And you saved the company. She stopped near the gate. Do not confuse the two. He took a breath. I am sorry. She turned slowly. Do not use one apology to jump over 9 years. His mouth closed. Cars passed on the road. A woman sold sachet water beneath an umbrella. Somewhere behind the station, a generator started. Tayo lowered his voice. Bode lied. Bode forged. Yes, you did not forge. No, you signed. The word sat between them. Tayo's shoulders dropped. I believed the evidence. You believed a summary prepared by the man benefiting from it. I did not know. You did not check. I was trying to save the company. Sade stepped closer. And who gave you the idea that the company was more innocent than the person it accused? He had no answer. She opened her bag and removed the brown notebook. The cover was worn soft, corners bent, pages swollen from humidity. This is why I kept it, she said. Tayo looked at the book. I remember. No, you remember me writing. You did not understand why. She opened to a page. Each line carried a farmer's name, truck number, weight, rate, amount paid, and amount outstanding. These are records your system denies. Mr. Musa delivered 7,842 kilograms in 2016. The payment file reduced it to 7,116. The missing 726 kilograms was sold. Somebody collected the money. She turned another page. Fatima delivered 3 loads this season. Your portal marks all paid. Her bank account received one. Another page. Yemi Cooperative was charged transport twice. Tayo touched the edge of the paper but did not take it. You carried all this alone? No! Farmers carried it. I only wrote. He swallowed. What do you want from me? Sade's expression sharpened. That question is why you still do not understand. You are asking what will satisfy me. Ask what the company owes. He looked down. Bode deceived both of us. No. Her voice was quiet, very clear. He forged the evidence. You supplied the punishment. Tayo looked as if she had struck him. She continued. He could not remove my access. You could. He could not freeze my shares. You approved it. He could not turn a lie into company history without your signature. I know. No, you are beginning to know. Sade closed the notebook. Start there. She walked away. This time, Tayo did not follow. The next morning, he called an emergency board meeting. Bode arrived with 2 lawyers. He had expected anger. Anger could be managed. Instead, Tayo read a list. Effective immediately, you are suspended from all duties. All company devices in your possession will be surrendered. You are prohibited from contacting suppliers, employees involved in the audit, or contractors linked to BF27. Bode stared at him. You cannot do this based on one auditor's theory. The board has approved it. Bode looked around the room. 3 directors avoided his eyes. 1 removed his glasses. Bode laughed. My own family. Tayo's face did not move. Do not use family to escape governance. You learned that sentence from her? No. I learned it from what happened when I ignored her. Bode stood. You think Sade wants reform? She wants to enter this company and take what you built. Tayo's voice became colder. What we built? Bode went still. Tayo continued. She was a founder before you were an employee. The lawyers whispered. Bode gathered his papers. At the door he turned. You are destroying your company for a woman who left you. Tayo met his eyes. No, I may have destroyed my marriage to protect a company that you were stealing from. For the first time, Bode had nothing ready. He left. Halima's team worked for 6 days without stopping. They matched Weybridge data with GPS records. They traced payment paths. They recovered deleted folders from server backups. They compared the electronic signature on Sade's approvals with an old contract. The signature image was identical down to a faint black dot beneath the letter B. It had been copied. Balogun Field Services did not belong to Sade. Its registered owner was Samuel Balogun, a retired civil servant in Ibadan who had been paid Lana 80,000 to sign formation papers he did not understand. The beneficial payments moved through a consulting company controlled by Bode's former university roommate, then to property purchases, then to Bode. The evidence was strong, but Bode was not finished. A recording appeared online. Sade's voice. I want the company to feel what I felt. The clip was 16 seconds long. News blogs shared it. Bode's lawyer issued a statement saying the audit had been manipulated by a bitter former spouse seeking revenge. By noon, Sade's roadside table was surrounded by phones. Madam, did you sabotage the cold room? Are you trying to take over your ex-husband's company? Did you threaten Coker Freshlink? She packed her melons without answering. Ronke stood across the road, smiling. By evening, 3 farmers withdrew from the public complaint. They were afraid. At 8:40 p.m., Halima called Sade. Did you say those words? Yes, Halima paused. You admit it? I said more than that. Where? At the supplier meeting under Ronke's office. Mr. Musa recorded everything because she refused to issue minutes. They found the full audio on his old phone. Sade's complete sentence was clear. I do not want the company to feel what I felt. I want it to learn before another person feels it. Halima played it twice. Then she found the edit. The cut had been made between 2 breaths. The metadata showed the clip had passed through a laptop registered to a communications contractor paid by BF27. Tayo listened to the full recording in silence. Then he said, No private boardroom. Halima looked up. What? We present everything publicly. That is a legal risk. So was humiliating innocent people under a public billboard. The board may resist. Then let them resist on record. He stood and looked through the window at Lagos lights. Invite the farmers, suppliers, press, regulators, staff, everyone who saw her dragged away. And Bode? Especially Bode. The hearing was scheduled for July 17. 211 farmers registered to attend. Bode received the invitation at his lawyer's office. He read it once, then again. His lawyer asked, Will you appear? Bode folded the paper carefully. Tayo will not expose family in public. The lawyer said nothing. Bode smiled. He is still my brother, but the smile did not reach his eyes. On July 17, the hall prepared for Coker Freshlink's grand launch became a courtroom without a judge. The gold ribbon had been removed. The champagne tables were gone. But the giant backdrop remained. Prosperity through partnership. 211 farmers filled the seats. Some wore clean traditional clothes. Others came directly from their farms, dust still resting on their shoes. Traders from the roadside stood along the walls. Ronke sat near the back in a bright purple dress. Her lime head tie was missing. Bode entered with 3 lawyers. He wore emerald green. His ruby tie was perfectly straight. He moved through the hall as if confidence could still command the facts. Then Sade entered. No bodyguards, no dramatic music. She wore a burnt orange blouse, a brown wrapper, and the pale turquoise scarf she used at the roadside. In her hands were the brown notebook and a clear folder. People turned, some whispered. Sade walked to the front and sat beside Mr. Musa, not beside Tayo. Tayo noticed. He took his place at the center table. The hall settled. Halima stood. This hearing concerns supplier payment manipulation, alteration of weight records, false attribution of system access, unauthorized market levies, evidence tampering, and the 2016 misconduct finding against Mrs. Sade Balogun. Bode leaned towards his lawyer. The man whispered back. Halima began with the farmers. One by one, their deliveries appeared on the screen. Original weight, adjusted weight, amount invoiced, amount received. The missing figures formed a pattern too large to dismiss as error. Bode's lawyer rose. Produce naturally loses weight. Halima nodded. Yes, but natural loss does not occur at the same percentage across different routes, weather conditions, and produce grades. Nor does it repeatedly appear after midnight, entered by the same administrator group. The screen changed, login times, device identifiers, edit histories. The hall murmured. Bode lifted a hand. These records require context. You will have an opportunity to provide it, Halima said. She displayed the 2016 transfer approvals. Then Saded's original contract signature. The two images overlapped. Every line matched, even the ink defect. This was not a signature made twice, Halima said. It was one image used twice. Bode's lawyer stood again. Who had access to the source document? Operations retained the scanned contract archive, along with other departments. Yes, but the approval file was created on a device assigned to the operations director's office. All eyes moved to Bode. He did not blink. Halima traced Balogun Field Services. Samuel Balogun's statement was played. He explained how a man had paid him to sign papers for what he believed was a cleaning business. The next screen showed the beneficial payment path. Balogun Field Services, Kitebridge Consulting, 3 property deposits, a private investment account, Bode Coker. The hall erupted. Farmers shouted. One woman began to cry. Mr. Musa closed his eyes. Tayo lifted a hand, but the noise continued. Bode stood. This is a fabrication. His voice cut through the hall. You are all being manipulated by a woman who lost her marriage and returned for revenge. He pointed at Sade. She kept company records without authorization. She contacted competitors. She has spent years poisoning suppliers against us. Look at her. She came here dressed like a victim because she knows poverty is good theater. The hall went quiet. Sade rose. She did not rush. Are you finished? Bode laughed. You want to lecture me on business? No. I want you to explain one truck. She opened the brown notebook. March 4, 2016. Truck registration FKJ 902DS. Musa Bello supplied 7,842 kilograms. Your system paid for 7,116. She looked at the screen. Halima displayed the GPS and buyer receipt. The hotel group had received 7,811 kilograms after a recorded transit loss of 31. Sade faced Bode. Where did the other 695 kilograms go? Bode said nothing. She turned a page. March 9. Fatima Yusuf. 512 kilograms removed after final weigh-in. Another page. March 12. Yemi Cooperative. Transport charged twice. Bode's lawyer touched his arm. Bode pulled away. These handwritten notes prove nothing, Halima answered. They match independent GPS logs, buyer receipts, and bank records in 94% of tested transactions. The farmers began to murmur again. Sade closed the book. This notebook did not become true because I am poor. Your system did not become true because it was expensive. That sentence quieted the room. Halima moved to the cold room incident. The visitor card, the manual entry, the deleted camera footage, the administrator credential, the backdated release form. Then she played the 16-second recording. I want the company to feel what I felt. Bode spread his hands. You hear her. Halima played the complete version. I do not want the company to feel what I felt. I want it to learn before another person feels it. The second sentence filled the hall. Bode's face emptied. Halima displayed the audio metadata. The edited file had been processed through the communications contractor linked to BF27. Ronke stood suddenly. I did not edit anything. No one had asked her. The room turned. Halima looked at her. We also reviewed market levies collected under your management. Receipts appeared, some official, some duplicated, some carrying no revenue code. Photographs showed seized baskets being sold through another roadside outlet. A payment ledger showed transfers from a BF27 contractor to Ronke's personal account. Her knees seemed to weaken. I was following instructions. Mr. Musa rose from his seat. When you called us dirt, whose instruction was that? Ronke looked away. When you took my wife's baskets after we paid, who instructed your mouth to laugh? She had no answer. Tayo stood. He held no prepared speech. For several seconds, he simply looked at the farmers, then at Sade. When these allegations first appeared in 2016, I had the authority to demand an independent investigation. His voice was steady, but his hands were not. I did not. Bode stared at him. Tayo continued. I allowed the person controlling operations to control the accusation, the evidence, and the explanation. I accepted speed as an excuse. I told myself I was protecting employees and investors. He breathed in. The truth is that I protected my comfort. The hall remained still. Bode created the lie. I gave the lie authority. Sade lowered her eyes, not in forgiveness, in recognition. Tayo faced her. I suspended you. I approved the freezing of your shares. I allowed company communication to describe you as dishonest. I signed the documents that turned an untested accusation into official history. His voice broke slightly. I was wrong. Bode pushed back his chair. This is madness. You will destroy the family name. Tayo looked at him. You used the family name as a hiding place. You think these farmers will save your company? No. They already built it. Two representatives from the company's legal committee approached Bode. The board secretary read the resolution. Immediate termination for gross misconduct, subject to statutory rights. Preservation of all relevant assets. Referral of evidence to financial investigators. Civil recovery proceedings. Bode looked around the hall. For years, people had moved when he entered. Now no one moved. His lawyers gathered their files. He left between them. No handcuffs, no instant prison sentence, only the beginning of consequences that could no longer be arranged in private. Ronka's contract was terminated that same day. The local authority opened a review into the illegal levies and seized goods. She was ordered to provide a full inventory and repayment schedule. Then Tayo turned back to Sade. I will personally compensate. No. Her voice stopped him. The old instinct had returned. Use money, close pain, move forward. Sade stepped to the microphone. This is not a gift matter. She placed 5 pages on the table. The company will pay every affected supplier, principal and late payment interest. The company will restore my founder rights through an independent legal process. Weight deductions must be visible to farmers before trucks leave. Complaints must go to a unit outside operations. And every trader whose goods were destroyed on June 18th must receive documented compensation. Tayo nodded. All agreed. No. She looked directly at him. Do not agree like a husband trying to win back his wife. Let the board vote, put dates, put signatures, publish progress. Tayo sat down, the board voted. Every resolution passed. A journalist raised her hand. Mrs. Balogun, have you forgiven Mr. Coker? The question traveled through the hall. Sade looked at Tayo. His face carried hope and shame. Forgiveness is personal, she said. Repair is public. Let him finish the public work first. 14 months passed, not in one sweeping miracle. In meetings, audits, court filings, repayment schedules, Bode was charged with fraud, forgery, and manipulation of company records. Properties linked to disputed funds were placed under legal restriction. He lost his position, his influence, and the comfort of deciding which truth reached Tayo. Ronki repaid illegal levies under a supervised settlement. She stood before traders she had mocked and read every amount she owed. Some forgave her, some did not. All were paid. Coker Freshlink changed its systems. Every farmer received an electronic weight slip before a truck left the gate. Any adjustment required 2 approvals and created a permanent record. Supplier complaints went to an independent office. Late payments appeared in monthly board reports. Whistleblowers could report outside the operations chain. The company also published the names of the 37 farmers whose invoices had been wrongly closed and confirmed full repayment. Sade's founder shares were restored after arbitration found that the misconduct clause had been triggered by fabricated evidence. She received the distributions withheld from her. She did not return as Tayo's employee. Instead, she formed Balogun Growers Cooperative. Farmers held most of the voting rights. The cooperative built a legal roadside market with drainage, storage, transparent scales, and written permits. Traders no longer paid cash to people carrying unofficial receipt books. On opening day, Sade stood behind a clean wooden stall. Her blouse was burnt orange. Her scarf was pale turquoise. A new weighing scale sat before her. Tayo arrived without a convoy. No security men, no photographers. He wore a simple cobalt blue shirt and carried nothing except a small paper bag. He had spent 14 months attending supplier meetings, signing public progress reports, and accepting limits on his authority as CEO. He had never once asked Sade to remarry him. Not after she told him repair came first. He stopped at her stall. "How much for this one?" he asked, touching a large watermelon. Sade placed it on the scale. The figures settled, 4,320 naira. Tayo paid exactly that. No extra bundle, no performance of generosity. Sade counted the notes and gave him a receipt. "Today," she said, "you paid the correct price." Tayo looked at the watermelon, then at her. "I am learning that the price is not always written on the scale." For the first time in years, Sade smiled at him without pain reaching first. It was not a promise. It was not a wedding. It was a door no longer completely closed. Mr. Musa called from the next stall. "Oga Tayo, do not stand there squeezing your face. Carry your melon before another customer buys it." The traders laughed, even Sade. Tayo lifted the fruit. "Yes, sir." He walked beside her as she inspected the new stalls, not ahead, not behind. Beside her. Some people may ask why Sade did not forgive Tayo the moment he apologized. But forgiveness and accountability are not the same thing. A private apology cannot repair public humiliation. It cannot restore stolen income. It cannot correct a false record or return 9 lost years. Sade's story reminds us that poverty is not proof of guilt, and an expensive report is not automatically the truth. Whenever one person controls the accusation, the evidence, and the punishment, justice has already lost its balance. Respect should not begin only after we discover that the person we mocked once had status. Human dignity belongs to the roadside seller before the billionaire steps out of his car.